Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here from CarterMatt.com.
And Jessica here also from CarterMatt.com.
That is good. We are pleased to report we are discussing Santa Clarita Diet Season 3 in this video.
Yes.
Neither one of us, last I checked, is a cannibal. I feel like this is going to be safe. I feel like we're not going to have to murder anybody. Okay, all right. We're doing that already. And we also, Coco Vanderwolf actually may be the cannibal that's among us, but she's making
We'll see.
Yeah, there you go. There's a cliffhanger for like 5 minutes later in the video. But so what we're going to do in this video is we're going to talk a little bit about what makes this show a lot of fun for us to watch, what worked about Season 3, what did not work about Season 3, and we'll kind of take a look ahead. Obviously, there are many spoilers. How many spoilers?
Many spoilers.
A lot of spoilers. So if you have not seen Santa Clarita Diet,
stop watching.
Yeah, stop watching. Go watch it. It's not going to take you that long. It's Sunday. Go watch it. Abandon your friends. Just come and watch that and then come back and watch this video.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a show that, Jess and I, CarterMatt, we don't always get to watch a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah, there's, we cover so many shows, so many shows, that we never get a chance to actually watch the same show together. So when something like Santa Clarita Diet comes up and we just both love this show so much, there is no debate on I get to cover it, he gets to cover it. No. We both need to watch it, and it just has to be that way.
Yeah, it's like this is like the rare piece of gold that we both get to collect and share and enjoy. Versus most of the time, it's like one of us has to grab the piece of gold and run to the bank with it before the other one gets to check it out at all. So this is a rare opportunity for us.
Yeah, and we had a really good time with it. We bought lots of snacks. We had our, drinks with us, and it was a fun time.
Yeah.
We just binged the whole thing.
Yeah, this is always a really, really fun watch, and I think as a whole, it is, again, if we're going into what I like about this show, the number one thing is just that it is insanely silly. I enjoy silly. I enjoy whimsy. As you can probably tell from looking at me, I am a strange man who enjoys strange things.
Well, I just love the comedy of it, and for me, there hasn't been a really good comedy that just makes me belly laugh probably since The Office, where it was joke after joke, and I'd be laughing and cringing and laughing and cringing, and this show does the exact same thing to me.
And I just feel like it pulls from the random people Matt Carter likes to see in things club. You've got Joel McHale in here, so it's satisfying my Community fan. You've got Maggie Lawson satisfying my Psych fan. You've got Andy Richter satisfying my Andy Richter. So there is a little bit of just various things that I enjoy about this show. But what did you like about Season 3?
I liked that they had the same type of comedy that they have had for Season 1 and 2. And I've watched Season 1 and 2 an unhealthy amount of times. And this one, it'll be in there too. But the comedy was there, and it was right on point again. And that's the thing that I appreciate the most about this show.
Yeah, and they're still leaning into it. This show is about Sheila, who's Drew Barrymore's character, who gets some sort of bizarre virus that basically makes her into an undead cannibal, and she's still trying to find a way to live a normal life with her husband, Joel. And I think the Sheila-Joel relationship, that is kind of the focal point of this show, and I think as long as you're kind of doing fun stuff with the two of them that still feels like a tiny bit normal, then this show is going to be successful. So even the scenes in the finale where you have the two of them trying to open up their new real estate business while also dealing with every single limb and body part hitting the fan at the same time.
Yeah.
That is exceptional enjoyment for me.
And it was cool to finally see, they hyped up this season that this was going to be the season where Sheila was going to want Joel to become undead and spend their lives eternity together.
Yeah.
And it was only a matter of time before that happened. So this season made sense that this is where it was going to come up.
Yeah, it did, and it was a big part of it. I mean, the cliffhanger kind of makes it suggest that we might have an answer, because you do see in the closing seconds Sheila end up biting him, but that's for a lot of different reasons, and not just whether or not he's game for it, but...
Yeah, and he did say that he's game for it, but it was for different reasons. But then going into a season 4, you know, what I've loved about this show is that Joel was not undead, and that it was the family unit coming together, you know, trying to work through this problem with Sheila, and not that it was going to turn into an entire family of undead.
Yeah, and I mean, to go along with that family, I mean, the other thing that I really love about this show is I love that the kids aren't irritating.
Yeah, the kids have good roles in this show where they're involved, and there's real family dynamics where you're seeing the parents don't obviously want them involved in cannibalism and killing and all this sort of stuff, and the kids actually really want to be involved in their lives and be part of something and part of the family unit. You know, last season we saw Joel and Sheila try to dump Abby off on their aunt, and she was not having it. You know, it is a family unit to the end.
Yeah, and I like the fact that we're still kind of dealing with all that sort of stuff. I think the Abby storyline has always been kind of fun, and, you know, with her friend / will it be something more, will it not be something more? I'm already forgetting the guy's name, and he's like my favorite person on the whole show. Eric. Yeah, see, I always want to call him Chris for some reason, and then everybody would just be like, who's Chris? But no, see, I love Eric.
I love Eric.
Eric is great. Give me more of Eric kind of constantly on this show, but I think their side plots are always very, very fun. I think kind of the weird, violent aspect of this show, anytime they can like throw something that's like weird and bloody at me, I'm probably gonna laugh at it.
Yeah.
And like all of that sort of stuff.
Or just Joel swearing. He swears like nothing I've heard. Just like perfect timing comedy.
Yeah, it's just boo, it's right there, it's in your face, it's ridiculous. The whole show is ridiculous, but yeah, Joel swearing, he's got to be up like really, really high on just a list of people who you just want to hear curse.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, kind of as we talk about some of what didn't work as well in season 3. I've got a couple of comedy rules that I'm going to bring to the table here for this, at least for me. And the number one rule I always want to talk about is you got to know when to end a bit. And I always bring this up because there are a couple of different examples of it. Like Andy Bernard on The Office. He was a great character for a run of season 3. After he punched the hole in the wall.
That should have been it.
Yeah, that should have been the last time we saw Andy Bernard. But no, they fell too in love with their own bit, and they felt like they had to bring Ed Helms back because he was a kind of a big name, and so we got Ed Helms for like 5 or 6 more years after that,
and they just didn't know what to do with them, and they dragged it out and pounded it into the carpet, and it was bad.
Yeah, and I feel like in this season there are a couple of examples of them just kind of falling in love with their own bit and not letting it go.
And the number one is Gary. I'm not the biggest Nathan Fillion fan. I'm not a Nathan Fillion fan. For me, Nathan Fillion, if he's in the right role, he's amazing. He's really, really great, and I really, really love him. And in Gary, really, really great. I really loved him. But, you know, spoiler alert going into this one. If you're still watching, you're already spoiled. But he's not in this season, but they still have the character of Gary.
Yeah, and they just decided, okay, you know what? We'll put Alan Tudyk in his place. You know, that's okay. That's fine. That'll work out. I love Alan Tudyk. He's Steve the Pirate from Dodgeball.
I love him too, but I did not love him in this. Well, it felt like, for me, they needed to just stop with the character.
Yeah, they probably needed to stop with the character rather than trying to bring him back and reintroduce it. Like, if we had had a new Gary in season 2, and it was kind of the joke where every season you got another Gary, I think that probably would have been a little bit more effective. But because we already had 2 seasons of Nathan Fillion Gary, it kind of didn't work. And, you know, I mean, really, I guess in a way you could claim that Santa Clarita Diet's having a hard time because they keep getting, like, all these really good actors on the show. But because these are really good actors, they're going to, like, go and get, like, actual jobs doing other things.
Yeah, but he couldn't have come back? Like, we maybe had 4 scenes with Gary. Like, you know, I get he's doing the rookie, but like, Nathan, you couldn't come back just for like, give me more Gary. What is happening here?
Well, maybe they asked ABC and ABC said no. I mean, I don't know. And I mean, it was kind of the same way with Natalie Morales, who was like around for the very start of this season as Anne, and then she just kind of disappeared in the air. And I know she's got Abby's on NBC now, and that's probably why. But
but at least she came back and finished off the role, and it felt like it had an ending.
Yeah, it felt like it had an ending, but we did not see any Andy Richter in this entire season whatsoever, and I really wanted
But that makes sense, because, you know, he fired them.
I wanted to see Sheila eat him.
And that still may happen down the road.
I know, it could. All right, so... You know, we also got to kind of talk a little bit here about Mr. Balllegs, who I think is another joke that they really fell in love with, and that they just couldn't figure out what to do with it after a certain point.
No, and, you know, Mr. Balllegs started to just get really weird. Too weird for me. As soon as they revealed that Mr. Balllegs was covered in eyes, I knew eventually at some point they were going to show it. So what was happening for me, because I was not going to be able to look at that. It's more than a set of eyes, and I'm having a problem like with spiders or anything else. So every time he came on screen, I was just like, oh my God, it's about to happen. It's about to happen. It's about
I kept trying to tell you to cover your eyes, and then
eventually it happened, and luckily I had my eyes mostly covered.
Yeah, we got through it.
We got through it, but that was another, you know, Mr. Balllegs is attacking people, Mr. Balllegs is going into people's brains, like, it was too much of Mr. Balllegs. Like, it was funny in the second season, and it was, you know, kind of an interesting side plot, but it didn't need to be as prominent as it was.
No, and I think the other rule that I have for comedy sometimes is that the answer isn't always, let's try to make things bigger, rather than like, let's try to find another sort of way to tell the story in a funny way. Because it felt like a lot of this season was just like, okay, let's try to make as many people zombies as possible. I know Sheila hates the word zombies. I should be careful about that. But no,
you come knocking on
I know. But they really like threw in all of these undead people. I think it started to get a little bit unwieldy, where it was kind of almost, I mean, I hate to say anything's unbelievable with this show, but like at a certain point when you've got like 5 or 6 undead people running around, it's like unbelievable that Joel and Sheila would be able to actually contain that after a certain period of time.
Well, and for me, I enjoy the idea that it is really about this family unit. Yeah. Because more than it being about being undead, this show is about a family, and you know, a lot of people can relate to that, of like problems in their own family. Obviously, it's not undead and they take it to that level, but the idea behind it is we're a family unit, and no matter what, you're going to find a way through it, and you're going to find a way through it together. So when you're starting to bring in, you know, 10 other undead people, and they're all intertwined into this family, then it's not really a story about the family unit anymore. Now it's really about something much bigger than them.
Yeah, well, and speaking of people who we don't need, I'm out on Abby's friend Winter. I don't need her. I'm good.
No, I didn't need that. That was actually one of my biggest problems with this season, was Abby and Eric, mostly Eric, because he didn't really have enough to do. In the past seasons, they were really, really good with having Abby and having Eric have their own struggles within the family, working with the family, working against the family sometimes. And it was great to have them not just be background players. And this season, it really felt like they did not know what to do with Eric.
Let's talk about a good addition, though. I'm going to propose here my MVP for Santa Clarita Diet Season 3. I thought about this because I almost gave it to Goran Vicenich, but just because I love Timeless. But give me Tommy.
Love Tommy.
The member of the Knights of Serbia, briefly, / also I am
bird shop owner now.
I now have my destiny of opening a bird store. Also, that is my crossbow. Oh wait, sorry, it's not my crossbow.
Yeah, he was great. That was a really fun addition to the show. I really liked the Knights of Serbia, and that plot was really great.
Yeah.
And, you know, for Joel and for bringing Abby into that. And that was a really good plot. I enjoyed that a lot.
That was a lot of fun. All right, well, let's talk about season 4. It's not official that they're doing another season. I just kind of feel like you got to, especially with that cliffhanger. So what would you want to see in season 4?
Well, it seems like we're going to see what Joel as an undead is going to be like, which would be really interesting because his big struggle this season was, you know, being undead brings out your id and brings out a part of you that's not really present, and he was really worried about that. You know, there's a lot that Joel likes about himself that he doesn't want to lose. So it's going to be very interesting if that is the direction that they're going in, to see what an undead Joel or Joel is like.
Yeah, I don't know why it was that made me both like die laughing when Tommy did not know how to pronounce Joel's name, but whatever works. Now, I want to actually see, and I don't know if this is a season 4 plot or if it's a season 5 plot, but I want to see them try to come up with a cure. Like, if there's actually a way in which to cure this, if that's something that they really want, what that would look like, and kind of what the risks are with it, because I think that's kind of a way to... it's a good question to kind of wonder when this show is ending. I don't think we're getting like 4 more seasons of Santa Clarita Diet, so...
No, but I mean, for me, even if they can't find a cure, and the idea is how do the Hammonds as a family adapt to what's happening, especially for someone like Abby, because if both of her parents now are undead, then, you know, how does she deal with that? Like, her parents are going to live forever, and she's never going to have to see them pass away, which is, you know, great for her as a child, you know, but is this something that she's going to be able to deal with? Is she going to want to be a part of this? You know, is it going to be an entire family of undead? Like, what's going to happen with Abby having 2 parents that are undead? That's the story that I would like to see. Because right now before this has happened, she still at least had one parent who was like her. Now both her parents, she doesn't have anybody.
Yeah, now everything is just in like complete crazy town. Yeah. And there's fun that comes with that, but also danger that comes with that.
Yeah, and the thing that's helped Sheila not go feral and go crazy, besides, you know, the serum, is that she had Joel, who was her anchor and her rock, and her daughter, who was also a rock, to be like, we can do this as a family. But if you've got 2 undead, it's a little bit harder for the teenager to have to step in and be like, okay, now I got to control both my parents.
Yeah, Santa Clarita Diet Season 4, the Hell in a Handbasket edition, is probably coming at some point next year. You know, fingers crossed on it at least. But, all right, well, let's tie this up. And I want to know from you guys, if you have seen Santa Clarita Diet this season, do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Let us know why in the comments. Give us a like, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more updates. And I can't help it. I can't help it. She needs the love. She's got to have the love. Yeah.
I gotta give her the love. Sorry, guys.
If you want us to support us further, you can do so by checking the link to the CarterMatt store in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you here next time.